Welcome to a journey through the Democratic Republic of Congo, a nation with a story as rich and complex as the minerals beneath its soil. Since gaining independence from Belgium in 1960, the DRC has seen revolutions, assassinations, dictatorships and wars, each leader leaving their mark.
Patrice Lumumba. The man was pure fire, a charismatic leader who roared onto the scene demanding independence for the Congo. And he won it too, staring down Belgium, a colonial power used to getting its way. Lumumba envisioned a Congo free from colonial influence, a nation charting its own destiny. He wanted to kickstart industries, empower his people, and show the world that the Congo was a force to be reckoned with. But his vision wasn't shared by everyone. The Cold War was in full swing, and both the US and the Soviet Union saw the Congo as their own geopolitical chessboard. Lumumba, trying to navigate this impossible situation, found himself caught in the crossfire. And then, just 7 months after independence, tragedy struck. Lumumba was assassinated, a death that sent shockwaves through the nation and the world. Lumumba's assassination plunged the Congo into chaos. His legacy lived on, inspiring generations of Congolese to fight for a better future. Imagine inheriting a country ripped apart by internal strife and external meddling, a nation where every corner is a potential flashpoint for conflict. That was the unenviable task facing Joseph Kasavubu, the Congo's first president, a man thrust into the eye of a storm. Kasavubu was a study in contrasts to Lumumba, whose fiery rhetoric and revolutionary zeal captured the imagination of many. Where Lumumba was fiery and revolutionary, Kasavubu was seen as a unifier, a stabilizing force in a nation teetering on the brink of chaos and disintegration. But holding together a country the size of Western Europe, with its ethnic tensions and foreign powers playing puppet master, was like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. The challenges were immense and unrelenting. The Congo crisis erupted, a period of intense internal conflict fueled by political rivalries, regional tensions, and foreign powers pulling strings from the shadows, making the situation even more volatile. Kasavubu tried to navigate this political minefield, but the situation was like trying to put out a wildfire with a garden hose. Every step he took was fraught with danger and uncertainty. Amidst this chaos, a new figure emerged from the shadows, a man who would come to define the next chapter in the Congo's story. Mobutu Sese Seko, with his own vision and ambitions, began to rise. Kasavubu's presidency laid bare the immense difficulties of leading a nation grappling with the ghosts of colonialism, a legacy that continued to haunt every decision and policy. His story is a reminder that leadership isn't always about grand visions and sweeping revolutions. Sometimes it's about the quiet, relentless effort to keep the nation from falling apart. Sometimes it's about simply trying to hold the ship together as the storm rages around you, steering through the tempest with whatever means you have at your disposal. Enter Mobutu Sese Seko, a man who understood the art of power, a man who knew how to navigate the turbulent waters of politics with a keen sense of timing and strategy. He knew how to seize the moment and make it his own, turning every opportunity into a stepping stone for his ambitions. In a swift and decisive coup, Mobutu ousted Kasavubu, the then president, promising stability and a return to an authentic Congolese identity, a vision that resonated with many. He ditched the colonial-era name, renaming the country Zaire, a move that symbolized a break from the past and a new beginning. And he wasn't afraid to throw some shade at the West while he was at it, criticizing their policies and asserting Zaire's independence. Mobutu was all about African pride, about embracing and celebrating the continent's rich heritage and culture. He was determined to shed the remnants of colonial rule, removing symbols and emblems that represented foreign domination. He donned a leopard skin hat, a symbol of his connection to traditional values, and promoted these values vigorously. He nationalized industries, kicking out foreign companies and putting the country's resources back in, theoretically, Congolese hands, aiming to boost national pride and economic independence. On the surface, it seemed like Mobutu was leading a revolution, a Pan-African awakening that promised a brighter future. But behind the dazzling pronouncements and the leopard skin hats, Mobutu was consolidating power, tightening his grip on the nation. He built a regime synonymous with corruption and authoritarianism. He silenced dissent, crushed opposition, and turned the country into his own personal piggy bank, amassing wealth while the nation suffered. The economy, despite the initial boost from nationalization, tanked. Infrastructure crumbled, and the promise of prosperity faded. Mobutu's reign was a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that even the most well-intentioned revolutions can go astray. For 3 long decades, Mobutu ruled Zaire with an iron fist, his regime a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the fragility of democratic ideals. When Mobutu's reign finally crumbled, it was a moment of both relief and uncertainty for the beleaguered nation. His downfall marked the end of an era, but it also ushered in yet another period of instability and challenges for the people of Zaire. The nation, now known as the Democratic Republic of the Congo, faced a new set of trials as it struggled to rebuild and redefine itself in the post-Mobutu era. After decades of Mobutu's iron-fisted rule, people were ready for a change. Enter Laurent Desire Kabila, a revolutionary who emerged from the jungles, promising to sweep away the old guard and usher in a new era for the Congo. In 1997, with the support of neighboring countries and a population weary of Mobutu's excesses, Kabila marched into Kinshasa and sent Mobutu packing. The country breathed a collective sigh of relief. Mobutu was gone, Zaire was no more, and the Democratic Republic of Congo was reborn. Kabila promised to restore democracy, kickstart the economy, and heal the wounds of the past. But old habits die hard, and Kabila, despite his promises, wasn't keen on sharing power. He sidelined political opponents, cracked down on dissent, and seemed to be taking pages out of Mobutu's playbook. And then, there was the war. The Second Congo War erupted, engulfing the country in a conflict that would become one of the deadliest in modern history. In 2001, with the country teetering on the brink, Kabila was assassinated by one of his own bodyguards. Another Congolese leader was gone, another chapter closed in the nation's tumultuous story. Imagine inheriting a country at war, a nation still reeling from your father's assassination. That was the daunting reality facing Joseph Kabila, thrust into the presidency at the tender age of 29. Joseph, unlike his father, was a bit of a mystery. He was quiet, reserved, a stark contrast to the fiery revolutionaries who came before him. But one thing was clear: Joseph Kabila had inherited a poisoned chalice. The Second Congo War was raging, a complex conflict fueled by ethnic tensions, regional rivalries, and a whole lot of mineral wealth everyone wanted a piece of. To his credit, Joseph surprised many. He managed to negotiate a fragile peace, bringing an end to the war, at least officially. He oversaw the country's first democratic elections in over 4 decades, a glimmer of hope in a nation starved for stability. Despite the steps towards democracy, Joseph, like those who came before him, seemed to develop a taste for power. In 2018, after much pressure and protests, Joseph Kabila finally stepped down, paving the way for the country's first peaceful transfer of power.
Felix Tshisekedi. The name itself sounds like a melody, a promise of change, a beacon of hope for a nation yearning for a brighter future. And when he assumed the presidency in 2019, he became a symbol of hope, the man who would finally usher in a new era for the long-suffering DRC. His inauguration was a momentous occasion, filled with optimism and high expectations. The son of a prominent opposition leader, Tshisekedi carried with him the weight of expectation. His father, Etienne Tshisekedi, had been a stalwart in the fight for democracy, and now Felix was seen as the torchbearer of that legacy. People looked at him and saw a break from the past, a leader who could finally heal the divisions, tackle the corruption, and unleash the Congo's true potential. The air was thick with anticipation, and the people dared to dream again. Tshisekedi launched a charm offensive, mending fences with regional partners, wooing foreign investors and promising to crack down on the corruption that had plagued the country for decades. His diplomatic efforts were aimed at rebuilding trust and fostering international cooperation. He released political prisoners and allowed his predecessor's arch-rival, Moise Katumbi, to return from exile. These actions were seen as bold moves towards reconciliation and political stability. But the DRC is not for the faint of heart. The challenges are immense and multifaceted. The east of the country is still plagued by violence, a patchwork of armed groups vying for control of resources and territory. Corruption is deeply entrenched, making governance a Herculean task. The DRC is a land of paradox, rich in resources yet crippled by poverty. The wealth beneath its soil contrasts starkly with the daily struggles of its people. Tshisekedi has his work cut out for him, trying to attract investment, create jobs, and improve the lives of ordinary Congolese. The road ahead is long and fraught with obstacles, but the hope for a better future remains. The Democratic Republic of Congo's journey through its leaders reflects a nation striving for stability, self-governance, and development. From the fiery passion of Lumumba to the cautious optimism under Tshisekedi, the DRC's story is a testament to the resilience of its people.